All right, y'all. Greetings, 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 greetings. Welcome, welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. Y'all, we're just going to get right into it. I am so irritated and frustrated with StreamYard and just all these devices, all these gadgets, all this technology. I'm just over it with trying to get everything to work properly. I feel like at this point, I don't want to invest into anything else. So, without any further ado, I'm not coming on camera. I wanted to explore a few of these lawsuits. I definitely want to try to find the court documents for the Sean Carter lawsuit since he has been added to the court case so that we can review this for ourselves. You know, I like to see things in black and white. But since I don't have it in front of me, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And as I was doing some research, I recently came across the Adria English lawsuit. All right. So I hopefully will be able to pull this up without any incident. So let's see if you can see what I'm reviewing right now. Okay. And I'm hoping that you can hear me as well. What you should see on your screen should actually look just like my screen. It should be mirrored. This document was filed July 3rd of this year. It says Adria English, which is the plaintiff. Okay. And then this was filed against Sean Combs, aka P. Diddy, Puffy, and all of his other monikers. Um, she's also suing his companies, someone by the name of Tamiko Thomas and Jacob the Jeweler, Vibe Magazine, Penske Media, John and Jane Doe's 1 through 10. Y'all, excuse me for a second. I was heating up something to eat because I had gotten hungry. So let me go for a minute and check this food. I'm going to try to play a brief intermission if I can, and I will be back shortly. I hope this works without any incident. All right, y'all, and I'm back. I am back live and direct. All right, so let's get back into it. I want to go ahead and review this court case if I can. Plaintiff Adria English, okay? Plaintiff English or Miss English, by and through her attorneys, hereby alleges and avers of the defendant Sean Combs. All right, and then it names everyone else. Preliminary statement. Okay, so it references Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, right? And this is what set everything off, I guess, for other people to come forward. Um, it talks about plaintiff Joy Dickerson Neal, alleged that the defendant Combs drugged and assaulted her when she was a college student. The other lawsuit, currently being appropriately refiled in New Jersey, accused Mr. Combs and singer Aaron Hall of forcing the plaintiff and other unidentified women into non-consensual acts. Um, at the time, a fourth lawsuit was filed. This one against defendant Combs Companies and defendant Harv Pierre, the longtime president of Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings. Okay, blah blah blah. And it said basically these people looked the other way when all of this stuff was going on. Fifth lawsuit filed, and they're just referencing egregious And those brought by prior victims, including the plaintiff Doe, was trafficked and gained, you know what, by defendant Combs and various other individuals. Sixth lawsuit, and it talks about the workers, plaintiff Rodney Jones. And by the way, his case was thrown out. Okay. Seventh lawsuit. Let me see. All right, this one is against what's his name? Sean Diddy Combs' son, Christian Combs, by plaintiff Grace O. And I'm going to try to find and dig into that one as well because I think that'll be interesting. Grace O. Marsag, I think that's how you pronounce her name, or Marcag. Plaintiff in that suit alleges she was assaulted and physically harmed by the actions of defendant's son, and that defendant Combs aided and abetted in his son's tortious conduct or tortious conduct. An eighth lawsuit was filed against Diddy Combs by model plaintiff Crystal McKinney, alleging that she was drugged and assaulted by defendant Combs. Okay. It says the allegations in plaintiff McKinney's complaint echo similar claims filed by the plaintiff in this instant. All right, so Adria English is also claiming that she was too similarly assaulted and attacked in the same manner and fashion. A ninth lawsuit was filed against Combs by plaintiff April Lampros. Now, I also want to review April's lawsuit and complaint because I feel like that is very weak, and I'm going to tell you why. In that suit, plaintiff Lampros alleges the defendant of battery, assault, negligent infliction of emotional distress, and violation of the victims of gender-motivated violence protection of the law. Again, eerily similar to the claims made by plaintiff heroine. Prior to any of these cases being filed above, defendant Combs was named as a defendant in a civil SA lawsuit in Florida involving R&B singer Tremaine. What? Tremaine Neverson, aka Trey Songz. Sometimes you say my name, sometimes you say it. I bet the neighbors know my name. I bet the neighbors, uh, uh, they know my name. Sometimes you say Tremaine. I make a cuz I bet the neighbors know my name. What in the world? Okay. Let me read this again. Prior to any of the cases above being filed, defendant Combs was named as a defendant in a civil SA lawsuit in Florida involving R&B singer Tremaine. I made a cuss. I bet the neighbors know my name. Yep. Tremaine Neverson, aka Trey Songz. Now remember, if we go back to one of those Diddy parties being hosted by the little short weeble wobble Kevin Hart, you know Tremaine was there. He was back there with him. Defendant Combs was also implicated in a lawsuit filed in California against R&B singer Chris Brown. What? Let me read that again. Number 12. Defendant Combs was also implicated in a lawsuit filed in California against R&B singer Chris Brown for an SA assault that took place on a yacht anchored at defendant Combs' Star Island estate in Miami, Florida. Do y'all remember when Chris Brown and Diddy was on that mattress and he was running away? Chris Brown was running away from Diddy. Let me see if I can find that. Chris Brown on mattress with Diddy. All right. Yeah, he was definitely trying to dodge him. Okay. Let's see if we can find that party footage. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Let me click on the video. We're going to watch it on YouTube. It's okay.
How we doing?
Goddamn.
My outfit look like
Goddamn. You don't know another nigga that's fit like this.
Watch change color when I lift my wrist. It's a Motel 6, keep on them lights. Take a bitch on a date, fuck her that night. She got a boyfriend, like, bye, nigga, bye. I'm like, cool, I'm trying to be inside.
We know sometimes those relationships. I gotta go back to it. Y'all couldn't see it. Exit full screen. Okay, so they're not letting me show the what?
Oh, see what we doing? Goddamn, goddamn. My outfit look like.
Why won't they let me show it? All right, let me bring it back up again. Share. This stuff be irritating. It just really be aggravating. Um, window. Where am I at? I'm trying to show not the whole screen. Let's see. All right, so I think I'm gonna have to just copy and paste.
What we doing?
All right, let's do it like this. Since it wants to be difficult, this is why I be getting so frustrated because it don't make no sense. All right. All right, let's see if I can present this. Share. So share screen. Okay, here we go. Share. Hopefully this will show up. Okay, let me see if I can make it bigger. All right, and I'm gonna play it. Watch how Chris Brown.
Oh, see what we doing? My outfit look like. You don't know another nigga that's fit like this. Watch change color when I lift my wrist. It's the Motel 6, keep on them lights. Take a bitch on a date, fuck her that night. She got a boyfriend, like, bye, nigga, bye. I'm like, cool, I'm trying to be inside. I'm smooth. You're cool. You try. They say I look good.
Yeah, I just thought I would show that. Okay. I just thought let's rewind that back.
Oh, see what we doing? Goddamn. My outfit look like. You don't know another nigga that's fit like this. Watch change color when I lift my wrist. It's the Motel 6, keep on them lights. Take a bitch on a date, fuck her that night. She got a boyfriend, like, bye, nigga, bye. I'm like, cool, I'm trying to be inside. I'm smooth. You're cool. You try. They say I look good.
Yeah, he looked like he was having a good old time on that mattress, chasing after Chris. All right, that's really what I wanted to show you. Let me stop sharing that. Let me get back to this lawsuit, okay? Because that's what we really came here for. Um, hopefully we don't have any issues with that. Share. Let me see how I get back to this lawsuit. I think this is it. All right. Hopefully this is being shown. Let me just make sure it's coming up. Okay, I see it. All right. So defendant clone. Okay, so we see that R&B singer Chris Brown was also included in this assault on a yacht anchored at defendant Combs' Star Island estate in Miami, Florida. And I think we all remember Chris was facing some type of charges, and I remember hearing that Trey was as well. Chris Brown was also referenced in the lawsuit between plaintiff Rodney Jones and defendant Combs, implicating Mr. Brown was in Mr. Combs' Los Angeles home, consorting with underage girls and S workers. Was he coerced or forced to do this or to partake in this type of behavior? Because why would Chris Brown want to be with underage girls? Like, that doesn't sound right. I think they are doing something to, honestly, with Chris Brown, I believe they gave him something. If he did do that, I don't think he was doing it willingly. I'll just put it that way. This is now the 10th lawsuit filed against defendant Combs since November 16th, 2023. Just as the allegations brought by the other nine plaintiffs, Plaintiff English's claims are just as egregious. And if you don't know who Adria English is, let me allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Howard. Anyway, because he's facing charges too now, y'all. In case you didn't know. Um, I tell you what, let's bring up Adria so everybody knows who this individual allegedly is. Adria English. Oh, she has an Instagram, y'all. Let's go to her IG. I'm pretty sure you have heard. So here we go. Let's see if we can present this other screen. Let me stop sharing this one. So I got to stop this and present the other one. Share here. Okay, this is Adria English's IG. All right, so this is her, Adria Cherie Marcy, and she also likes to reference herself to Jay-Z because he's supposedly from the Marcy Projects, y'all. She says that she's an entrepreneur, and she says for booking, please contact Adria Cherie Marcy. Consultation for any aspect of the entertainment industry available. Serious inquiries only. You can cash app her. All right. And she has a Facebook link. This is her speaking. She said Beyonce didn't start going by her name, Sasha, until she met Adria English because I guess Jay-Z wanted her. Oh boy, it's just a hot, messy mess. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen for a minute and get back to this lawsuit that she allegedly filed. Okay. How do we get back to the lawsuit, y'all? It's right here. Let me see. Here it is. All right, here's the lawsuit. Okay. Now, let's continue to go on. Due to these numerous lawsuits filed against Combs, alleging the same or similar acts, there is now a growing awareness that defendant Combs was engaging in far more sinister acts than previously known, including physical abuse and S trafficking. Specifically, from 2004 to 2009, plaintiff was S trafficked by defendant Combs, Thomas, and Arabov. Who is Arabov? See, I need to look into who those two people are. Thomas and Arabov? I guess they're named earlier in the suit. Additionally, because of defendant Combs' relationship with defendant Vibe, due to their conspiracy in the S trafficking enterprise, defendants knew they could publish plaintiff's likeness without her consent and fear of recourse, and chose plaintiff's likeness to use without permission in an effort to continue with defendant's S trafficking enterprise for their financial benefit. Therefore, plaintiff brings claims pursuant to New York civil rights law. Plaintiff can support her allegations within this complaint and has lived her adult life with the memories being trapped in a cycle of S trafficking she never asked to be a part of and was chosen because defendant Combs knew he could groom her. For years, plaintiff has been affected by defendant's actions and has suffered extreme emotional distress impacting nearly every aspect of plaintiff's life and personal relationships. Giving all the brave individuals who have come forward against defendant Combs, plaintiff is doing the same. Plaintiff brings the action seeking injunctive, declaratory, and monetary relief against defendants in violation of the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Law. My thing is, if people are really victimized, why don't they file criminal charges to lock this man away? But everybody is going after monetary gain. This court has personal jurisdiction over the defendant under the consistent over I'm sorry, under and consistent with the constitutional requirements of due process, and that the defendants acting directly or through his agents or apparent agents committed one or more of the following: the transaction of any business within the state, the making of any contact within the state, the commission of a tortious act within this district, and the ownership, use, or possession of any real estate in this state. What is she alleging that he did? All right, let's keep going, y'all. I want to see exactly what are they saying took place. All right, defend. Okay, we already know about the Cassie thing. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. They're naming Bad Boy again. Sean John Clothing. Let's keep going. Defendant Combs Enterprise. And then here's Tamiko Thomas. Is that Adria English right here? It's a picture of her and someone else. Okay, this is Jacob Arabov, Jacob the jeweler. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, it says defendant Thomas in her employment capacity was responsible for transporting and making payment to individuals like plaintiff in furtherance of corrupt organization of S trafficking on behalf of defendant Combs and the beneficiaries of the corrupt organization, including Jacob, Vibe, and PMC. Defendant Thomas, upon information and belief, was an employee of defendant BBE at all relevant times. So it sounds like Adria English helped assist with this S trafficking. That's what it sounds like. Upon information and belief, defendant Jacob at all relevant times was a resident of the state of New York. So Jacob the jeweler was involved in this, according to what they're saying here. Hmm. And he was born in Uzbekistan. Okay. He knowingly had intercourse with plaintiff who was trafficked for that specific purpose. Defendant Jacob in 2008 was sentenced to 2.5 years in federal prison regarding a multi-state drug ring, was fined $50,000 and had to forfeit $2 million to the U.S. government. Prior to being imprisoned, defendant Jacob frequented parties thrown by defendant Combs and BBE, where he knowingly participated in the illegal commodification of women via S trafficking. Upon information and belief, defendant Jacob still runs a business, Jacob & Co., licensed to do business in New York with its headquarters located at 48 East 57th Street, New York, 1002. Defendant Vibe Magazine. All right. And so how did they get involved in this? It says it was corrupt and exploitive to plaintiff and to the benefit defendant Vibe and other members of the corrupt organization. Defendant Vibe's ongoing beneficial relationship with defendant Combs dates back as far as 93. Defendant John and Jane Doe's 1 through 10. Let me see. Upon information and belief, plaintiff alleges that defendant Doe's 1 through 10, inclusive, are or other parties not yet identified who have violated plaintiff by S trafficking her, conspired and or aided and abetted the defendant in trafficking the plaintiff through their participation in a corrupt organization. I want to know what's going on with those children in the tunnels. Nobody is talking about the children. Everybody is alleging to be a victim after Cassie has gotten a settlement allegedly of millions of dollars. Now everybody's coming out. But who's advocating for children? I don't hear anybody speaking about these children, about the underground tunnels. How is this mansion up for sale when there could be evidence in those tunnels? Something's not making sense. Plaintiff being as trafficked or having engaged in one or more of the wrongful practices alleged herein. The true names, whether corporate, individual, or otherwise, of defendants 1 through 10 inclusive are presently unknown to plaintiff, which therefore sues said defendants by such fictitious names and will seek leave to amend this complaint to show their true names and capacities when same have been ascertained pursuant to blah blah blah. And they're saying that these Jane Does 1 through 10 um, were the agent, affiliate, officer, director, manager, principal, alter ego, and or employee of defendant Combs and all of these other companies, and was acting within the scope of such agency, affiliation, alter ego, and all of the above. Hmm. So they're saying that it's a corrupt organization, aided and abetted the defendant in SDX trafficking, the plaintiff, or have engaged in one or more of the wrongful parties alleged herein. The true names, whether corporate, individual, or otherwise, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Plaintiff Adria English. So I guess this is a picture of her, a citizen of the United States, a resident of California, domiciled in the state of New York at the times that this took place. Prior to moving to New York in or around early 2004, plaintiff participated as an actor in the adult film industry under the name Amonique. Oh, Unique. Plaintiff participated in approximately 8 adult films prior to moving to New York, which were done while plaintiff was a teenager. Plaintiff was coerced by veteran porn star Jake Steed into doing these films. Wow, y'all. I did not know this was going to come up on the screen. With doing these films with the promise they would never be viewed or circulated within the United States. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second because I did not know that was going to come up on the screen. All right, so one of these people are supposed to be Adria English, I guess. All right, so now that we've moved past that, I can share it again. So present, share screen. Okay. Plaintiff moved to New York from California to evade the disappointment of her family. When they discovered she was acting in adult movies, as plaintiff was led to believe, the adult movies would only be seen and purchased abroad, therefore difficult to be viewed by those who knew her personally. Plaintiff moved to New York, destitute and homeless, with her then boyfriend, starving up and coming model Anthony Gallo. All right, so this is supposed to be her boyfriend. While plaintiff's then boyfriend auditioned her for modeling gigs and attended Go Sees in New York, plaintiff began go-go dancing and performing at Larry Flint's Hustler Club on 51st Street in New York under the stage name of Sasha. On or about mid 2004, Mr. Gallo attended an audition for a Sean John modeling campaign in New York where plaintiff accompanied him. During that audition, another model and Mr. Gallo were asked to perform fellatio on defendant Combs in order to book the modeling campaign. So Mr. Gallo refused, but was later reapproached by employee defendant Thomas, offering new terms. The terms being that Mr. Gallo could still book the Sean John campaign if he commanded the plaintiff to work defendant Combs and BBE's upcoming white party in the Hamptons as a go-go dancer, as plaintiff was a well known, talented, and highly sought after dancer at Larry Flint's Hustler Club. Okay, so they wanted they wanted the girlfriend to work at the white party. If an effort to assist Mr. Gallo's desire to become a model, in an effort, plaintiff agreed to what she believed to be legitimate employment with defendant Combs and BBE as entertainment at the white parties in the Hamptons, New York, and Miami, Florida, from 2004 to 2009. Plaintiff did not agree to a lifetime of aftermath of being used as an ex pawn for the pleasure and and financial benefit of others. Factual allegations: plaintiff's employment at defendant Combs' Labor Day White Party, as agreed to between Mr. Gallo, defendant Thomas, and defendant Combs. SJC, I guess that's Sean John Combs, and BBE. Plaintiff began her employment at the ultra exclusive and lavish Labor Day parties thrown by defendant Combs and BBE called the White Party, and Mr. Gallo began his employment as a Sean John model. Plaintiff's first employment at a white party was summer of 2004. Okay, so this is Adria English allegedly. Guest strikes a revealing pose in 2004. Plaintiff believed this to be a legitimate employment opportunity. Plaintiff was picked up by defendant Thomas in a car driven by one of the defendant does owned either by defendant Combs and or whomever, and transported to Combs's estate in the Hamptons, New York, which served as the venue for the Labor Day White Party. When plaintiff arrived at defendant Combs' Hampton estates with defendant Thomas and other trafficked individuals, defendant Thomas brought them into a room where they changed into the clothes provided for them. Plaintiff's outfit is in the above picture was provided to her as a uniform as she was led to believe she was employment in an employment capacity, and plaintiff was required to wear the clothing provided as part of her employment. Plaintiff was also provided a separate room from the party away from where the party goers congregated that was used by plaintiff and other employees as a break room to take, it says, respite during the party, as plaintiff was there in an employment capacity. Plaintiff was encouraged directly by defendant Thomas to provide lap dances and be uh, intimately flirtatious with the guests at the white party. Plaintiff was also instructed and directed by defendant Combs as to which guests plaintiff should focus attention and interaction with to ensure his guests were having a great time. Plaintiff was strictly instructed by defendant Combs and Thomas on which bottles of alcohol and champagne female employees were to exclusively drink from, and also required plaintiff to take narcotics offered by a white party guest. Despite being forced to drink copious amounts of alcohol and consume illicit narcotics, the encounters plaintiff was forced to endure were so excruciating that plaintiff remembers them as they still haunt her to this day. Plaintiff was forced to consume liquor and illicit narcotics as part of her employment at the white party. Upon information and belief, defendant Combs laced the liquor with ecstasy, which is why plaintiff was provided strict rules on which bottles to consume from. Okay, let me see, because I might need to stop somewhere. How many pages is this? We're at 101. All right, let's keep going, y'all. I saw some photographs. Okay, so they mentioned an Irv Gotti. So she's saying who was at the party. Okay. So Reverend Al Sharpton, Jay-Z, Paris Hilton, Donald Trump, Andre Harrell, Lear Cohen, Irv Gotti, Steve Stout. Okay. And it says, with the promise of introduction, networking, fame, and fortune, which quickly shifts to unauthorized drugging, threats, and S trafficking. Hmm. Oh, so she had exposure to high level celebrity individuals. Okay. If you call them high level, I mean, we already see what happened with Russell Simmons. He fled the country. And now you see who is standing there beside him. None other than, lo and behold, what's her name? That model. She used to roll with Kim Porter all the time. I can't think of her name. But yeah, she was complicit. She knew what was going on back in the day. And then over here you have Black Eyed Peas. Okay, that's definitely Donald Trump. Heavy D was back there, dressed in white. Trying to make this bigger, y'all. Mary J. Blige. Who else do we see out here? Harv Pierre, Busta Rhymes. We heard about Busta. Jermaine Dupri. There's Jay-Z. Let's keep going, y'all. Who are the party goers? There's a list floating around about the party goers. Irv Gotti, Paris Hilton. That's when the boys were young. Look, they were at the white parties back in the day. Paris Hilton said Puffy was the life of the party. He makes everyone feel like they belong. All right, y'all. I think I've read enough. We're going to stop right there and revisit this some other time. I am sleepy and I am hungry. Normally, I would stay on here for about an hour, but this is 36 minutes of Adria English's lawsuit. And then we'll be exploring someone by the name of AK. She had a lawsuit, and then also that other person starts with the L. We're going to review that lawsuit. So anyway, y'all, this has been an episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. I am going to go ahead and sign out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, you all continue to walk in your divinity, okay? Let's see, what do we want to play as we sign up out of here? The outro. Let's find an outro.